Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy, the Fett, here with another weekly recap. It is Tuesday, February 19th, and I'm here to talk about some big things over the weekend that happened. Okay, so getting right to it, we're going to hop into baseball. I got a small segment. Spring training's here. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. Teams are starting to make their way to the south or out west to start their spring training. It's huge as an Orioles fan right now. I'm not looking forward to it because we are so disorganized. Just hiring a manager late as well as a general manager. They're still piecing together the roster, but most teams right now have been set, ready to go, and they've got their pitchers and catchers reporting. Still no real news on Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, as the latest rumors revealed a 300 mil plus contract with the Phillies for Bryce Harper. He is rumored to sign soon, as well as Manny Machado in San Diego. There are rumors that the Padres have offered him $250 million. So those are the two big names in baseball still not signed. Those are just the numbers people are throwing around contract talks between these two guys. Two of the best in the league, pretty much naming their own price and picking and choosing where they want to go. So moving on, we're going to go jump over to the NFL. It's winding down, but have no fears because the combine is coming up next week. I'm going to be watching that intently, basically crunching stats, looking at guys 40 times and bench reps. It's going to be awesome. So the other big news that come out this week pretty much is Colin Kaepernick settled with the NFL Players Association and the league. He took the money, and they have dropped the suit against the NFL. There are now rumors that he could be signing with Carolina. Carolina also signed Eric Reed last year during the season. He was one of the other players that was kneeling with Colin Kaepernick, but they are now linking him to Carolina. Antonio Bryant's still open to a trade. He says this week anywhere he is open to. Kind of sad to see him. You know, the franchise, the Steelers, even though I hate them, they did draft him. They gave him a lot of money. They made him who he is. Don't get me wrong, he's an amazing talent himself, but it is still a team sport. AB, sixth round pick. Nobody really thought he was going to turn into anything, and then he was given a shot in Pittsburgh, and look what they did with him. So we'll have to see what's going on with the AB drama next week. I'm sure it'll be something completely different. With the combine next week happening, there is another note. One of the prospects in Brown from Oklahoma, he's projected to be a top 5 wide receiver in the draft. He had surgery on his foot, and he will not be available until summertime. So no combine for him. Pretty much going to have to go off the tape if you're going to take a whim on him draft-wise. Okay, let's get into the NHL real quick. Not a lot to report there. The season is carrying on. We're in our second half. So this is the playoff picture right now. In the East, you have Tampa Bay, Boston, the Islanders, Toronto, Washington, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Montreal. Those are your top 8. Both Carolina and Buffalo are within striking distance all the way up to the Blue Jackets. They're only separated by a couple points. So you have basically 5 teams fighting for the last 3 playoff spots in the East. Out West, Calgary, the Sharks, the Jets, the Predators, the Knights, St. Louis, Dallas, and Minnesota round out your top 8. But Colorado, Chicago, and Vancouver all knocking on the door from St. Louis down. Like the East, you have about 6 teams here fighting for 3 positions. Next weekend is a big weekend for me as the Penguins and the Flyers play in Philly at the Link at 8 o'clock in the outdoor series game. If you guys didn't know, I'm a big Pens fan, and my father is a big Flyers fan. Therefore, it is a bit of a rivalry in our family considering he's from Pittsburgh and he's not a Pens fan. Tells me all the time you can root for both, but I've never heard of anyone being both an Eagles and a Cowboys fan, or both an Ohio State and a Michigan fan, or a Lakers and Celtics fan. You just don't cross the two when they're rivalries, especially when you're in state and you're playing the same conference and division. So that's what's going on in the NHL. Let's go ahead and get to the beef of what I want to talk about, and that's going to be the NBA. All-Star Game weekend. I am so bored of the All-Star Game. I didn't watch any of it, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, you see all the highlights and the clips, whether it's YouTube, ESPN, it's just all over. So I did see Joe Harris beat Steph Curry in the three-point competition. Shout out to Joe Harris. You're a beast. Um, Man, everyone, I guess Curry's going to have all these records, but he will not take home the title. He did beat his brother, which was pretty cool to watch those two play. I saw the little bit of highlights of those two going against each other in the three-point competition. I thought that was cool. The dunk contest, just boring. The dude that won dunked over Shaq. I don't even know the dude's name that won. He's some rookie from OKC. He ripped his shirt open, had a Superman shirt underneath, and dunked over Shaq. So, like I said, there weren't really any names this year. It was blowing me away. In fact, the best thing about the dunk contest is the rumors next year that Giannis is going to be in it with Zion and Donovan Mitchell. So if that happens, I will for sure watch that because you're putting three big names, possibly the Rookie of the Year versus two All-Stars. That would be legit. But overall, pretty bored with the All-Star game. I mean, these dudes played so lackluster. It wasn't even funny. I mean, they're just hoisting shots up and dunks and let people have the lane to go do what they want to do. And I know why they're doing it. They're not playing hard. There's no incentive behind it. It's not like the West or the East would have got home court advantage or anything. So I guess this is the future of basketball in the All-Star game. So I will not be paying attention or watching the All-Star game really, just because it's not a true game to me. I mean, they're still scoring points, there's still fouls and everything, but it's just so boring to me. The NBA doesn't pick back up until Thursday, and then everything goes back to normal as we pick up for the second half of the season. Let's talk about the top 8 in the West. You got your Warriors, and the surprise Nuggets are the 2 seed right now. Behind them, OKC, Portland, Houston, Utah, San Antonio, and the Clippers. And that's your top 8. But the Kings, Lakers, Wolves, and Mavs are all about 6 games or closer. All right, the Mavericks are a little stretched. They have 26 wins. But they're fighting for the 7 and the 8 seed. I expect the Spurs, Pop's a great coach. I just expect them to continue climbing up the ladder. I could see a Houston drop and a Jazz drop, but basically everyone is chasing the Clippers for that 8th seed. I don't really have a lot of confidence in the Lakers or T-Wolves. I mean, I honestly think the Mavs have a better shot. It all depends. LeBron could flip the switch and make this team the 8th seed, but all that effort and hard work for them to get into the 8th seed is going to be rewarded with a first. They're going to play the 1 seed, who's going to be Golden State. So that's what's going on in the West. In the East, it's a totally different story as 6, 7, and 8 seeds are all up in the air. Let's go through the top 8. The Bucks are the 1 seed. The Raptors are the 2 seed. The Pacers are the 3 seed. The Celtics 4. The 76ers are 5. And then, starting at 6, the Nets, then the Hornets, then the Pistons. The Nets are 3rd wins right now in 6th place. There are 3 games up on the Hornets in 7th place and 4 games up on the Pistons. Now, what's weird is the Pistons have the 8th seed right now, but the Heat have 26 wins, the Magic have 27, and the Wizards are there with 24. So all those teams, 6 games is not that much. 6 games is what I used for the West Coast. That's what I used for the Eastern Conference too. And unfortunately, I don't think the Wizards are even really in talking about it, but they're within 6 games. So we'll have to see how that goes. I could see the playoffs going as they are in the East. I expect the 76ers, the Pacers, the Celtics, everybody from 5 and up is going to continue winning. I think there'll be a lot of battles in conference. And I really just, I don't know. It's going to be something to be seen in the East because we still have the Bucks and the Raptors probably going to be your 1-2, but I expect the Sixers and the Celtics to leapfrog the Pacers. I think the Pacers will even out, finish as a 5 seed. 6 seed, I really don't see. I I mean, I got to go with the Nets. I mean, right now they look like they're healthy and young, and they're getting there. Unfortunately, the Pistons and the Hornets, I think, will jockey for 7, and that includes for 8th with the Heat pressing on their heels. So this has been your weekly recap. I didn't hit on any college sports. It's the off season. Um, College basketball, I'm going to be having a couple posts from Maryland. Duke is number 1 again. I will say that about college basketball, as they deserve it. After Kentucky beat number 1 Tennessee, Tennessee drops to 5. Maryland, 24th in the nation. The Big Ten, I believe, had 5 teams in the top 25. So that was pretty cool. Besides that, nothing else to report. So I'm going to leave you guys with a quick one. The Fett is out.